What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. Now, today we're talking about the film Superintelligence, which is coming to HBO Max November 26th, exclusively on there, so that's the only place you can stream this movie. Now, this film stars Melissa McCarthy, it stars Tyree Henry, just to name a few. But what's happening here is Carol, who's played by Melissa McCarthy, like, she's having a regular day until all her electronics starts acting wonky. Well, in fact, they are starting to talk back to her, which is like the weirdest thing. And she's totally panicking. But nonetheless, she has come in contact with the world's first superintelligence. Now, this superintelligence is here because it's using Carol as an observation of humanity for 3 days to determine if he wants to save humanity, enslave humanity, or destroy humanity here. So that pretty much makes her the world's last chance of survival here, depending on the outcome of her 3 days with her interactions with this superintelligence. So with that being said, while everything's going crazy, she doesn't know what to do. The superintelligence is like, look, I don't care what you do. You can tell anybody, whoever you want. I'm not a genie in the bottle. She runs over to her best friend, Dennis. Dennis is played by Tyree Henry, who is a top supervisor for Microsoft. So he's a tech guru. And when he comes in contact with the superintelligence, he instantly already knows this is trouble. This is bad for humanity. I got to tell the U.S. government. So he goes off to work with Cyber Command in order to come up with a plan in order to stop the superintelligence. Meanwhile, Carol is just living her best life as he decides to just elevate her in every single way. Finances, new car, new place, etc. While she's at the same time doing whatever she can to stop, to really get one more last chance with her love interest, who is going to be leaving town soon. So what I got to say about that is, number one, for the limited time that we get Brian and Melissa together, I wish we could have got more of that, because I mean, that was really the big draw for me here. It's like two, phenomenal actors and actresses in the comedy genre, and you putting those two together. I mean, I just knew it was going to be tons of silly moments. And in fact, like, the moments that they have together are just so good, but I just wish I had more, because again, he went off to do that, she went off to do that, and that's where they really kept them at majority of this film. And while I thought this movie was going to be head over heels funny, it was kind of more of a dry humor and really predicated around ridiculous moments. So, and good dialogue, what I'll say too, because when you add in the idea that the superintelligence, who is basically like Jarvis, but more with a sarcastic personality and some humor attached to him, who's also voiced by James Corden, who also makes some physical appearances as well in this as well. You have to think that the AI interaction with Melissa or Carol here, it's got to be verbal, because he's digitally everywhere, and it's kind of scary when you think about that too, because any single place that there's anything digital, whether it's cameras, television, cell phones, he can be there or manipulate it. And he's did some really crazy things that you thinking like, wow, I hope that's not true. I hope that's not really a capability that they could do. So a lot of the humor did come through dialogue, some ridiculous moments, and mostly dry humor, not head over heels jokes and so on. And then, going back to Brian, his character is a tech guru, and he's a nerd, but he's not a stereotypical nerd, which I truly appreciated that they didn't give him that role. But he has some really awkward, funny moments with the government, but at the same time too, his mannerisms and everything definitely gives you a laugh as well. What else about this movie too is that there's a very, very special cameo of King Griffey Jr. here. King Griffey Jr., one of my favorite baseball players of all time. So seeing him in this film, I was just like, wow. It's just good to see people that you just grew up liking, and seeing that they're doing good, and seeing him in this film was really cool, because obviously this film was in Seattle, and he's a Seattle Mariners legend. So, you had to use some notoriety for that city there. But pretty much this film is just about, the superintelligence of observing Carol, deciding, what's going to be the fate of humanity. At the same time, too, he's also playing matchmaker with her, trying to help her get her boo thing back. And then you have Tyree's character, Dennis, working with the U.S. government and the superintelligence to figure out a plan to really stop it, and mitigate all the risks that he's capable of doing, because he does some really crazy things. But this film is about King Griffey Jr.
Big old bell.